And yes, we waited. And Howie Roseman pays off with a lot of patience and gets the starting safety. But breaking news from Howie Roseman himself, Andrew Mukuba is going to be the starting safety in Philadelphia. We're going to talk about everything that happened in the day, everything that's going on. So let's get straight into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope it's having a fantastic day today. I hope everyone's doing well because we are going to go over the second day of the draft, covering the second and third rounds of this draft, where the Eagles stayed patient at 64. The Eagles stayed patient in the first round with a pretty much a one-spot trade up, giving away a fifth-round pick, and now they stay patient at 64. Didn't think they were going to stay patient here. I thought they were going to aggressively try to trade up because they were the last pick. Pretty much, okay? And they go out and draft Andrew Mukuba, safety from Texas, and this is one of the guys I wanted. This was the third safety on my board. He would have been the fourth if Kevin Winston Jr. didn't really have the injury, so Amenwari went really early in that second round, and if the Eagles really wanted him, I thought they would have traded up and really went to go get him. So that didn't happen. Now, Andrew Mukuba is an interesting one for me because I think a lot of Eagle fans have been kind of doubting this pick, and mostly because of his size. And I can't stand, and I'm going to prove everybody wrong here in this video because there's a lot of really good things to take out of this. Now, he only allowed 74 yards on 401 coverage snaps in 2024. Okay, 10 receptions on 23 targets, 7 passes defended, 5 interceptions, which he was tied in the SEC with 5 picks, 0 touchdowns allowed. Okay, 12.1 passer rating allowed. Okay. Play safety. He has experience at inside corner. He played, I think he was at Clemson at one point, transferred to Texas, and really put everything into one season, which was absolutely amazing. So a lot of versatility. This is a Vic Fangio type player, fast, physical, and let me tell you, this man packs a punch for his size that everybody is complaining about at this point. I'm a huge fan of this pick. I really am. I'm not forcing myself to like it. Trust me, if I did not like him, I would say I do not like him. Okay. It's almost a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson clone in a lot of ways here. Okay. Now, since everybody wants to talk about his size so much, now Howie Roseman did say this during his press conference after the second day, saying that he will move up in weight. It will happen. Okay. So you want to talk about Andrew Mukuba, you want to talk about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and the differences. Okay. Okay, sure. Andrew Mukuba weighs 186 pounds to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's 210 pounds. Okay, he could probably gain another 10 pounds. He'll be pretty much close to it. I'm not even worried about that. Okay, Andrew Mukuba is a little bit taller at 5'11 and a half than Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's 5'10 and a half. Okay, Mukuba runs a 4.45 40-yard dash. Okay, Chauncey ran a 4.48. Okay, 75 wingspan for Mukuba, 74 for, wingspan for Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So if you want to put out all the metrics to these players, I'm not worried about his weight. People are saying he weighs a lot less. He's gonna get injured a lot. He's more prone to injury and all of that. That does not matter to me. The difference in weight is not going to tell me that he's not going to play good at this position. Okay. What I really like about Mukuba is that he's a ball hawk. He could sense, he's one of those players that he studies the playbook. His IQ is very, very big when it comes to sensing routes, studies players, offenses, wide receivers, tight ends that he's going to be facing, see things before they happen, and the guy can actually cover, which is great, which Chauncey really couldn't do consistently. Now, there has been reports that he's an inconsistent tackler. That's what we kind of been hearing a little bit, but honestly, guys, this is something that's just taught, okay? The Eagles in 23, that whole defense couldn't tackle for anything. And obviously in 24, one of the best tackling teams I've ever seen in a lot of years. And I think that's just something when it comes down to practice and what these coaches are teaching you every single day. Christian Parker and some of these other coaches are going to have a field day with this kid. This kid loves to hit. Okay, this guy hits bigger than 230 pounds. Okay, you watch what he does on the field, and it's it's breathtaking to see this kid play. And always around the football and very physical, and he's got that pushback attitude. He is meant for this city. Okay. Now, I figured if they were going to go after a safety at 64, I figured they were going to maybe go out, maybe pair him with maybe a Justin Simmons or something like that. Okay. Just to have that veteran presence there. I didn't want to sign Justin Simmons alone and be like, yeah, we're done. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to come out of this draft without a safety because there was still a lot of value on that board at safety. And thank God they got one. But it looks like that might not even be the case, which we'll get into some of Howie Roseman and what he said in the press conference the other night. Now, from pick 64, okay, they traded back to 101, okay? So they end up trading back to 101, okay? And they traded with the Denver Broncos. They got 3 more picks for the third day of the draft, 6 picks. Okay. They ended up getting a 26 fifth round for the first trade up. That gave them literally an extra pick for 26, which the updated picks for 26 at this point is 12 picks. I could probably guess when we watch the last day of the draft 4, 5, 6, and 7th rounds. Okay. They're probably going to draft a couple guys for filler of the roster, fill the roster out. And I think the rest of those picks are going to go into 26. And obviously, some trades can go down where they might trade Dallas Goedert. They could trade for a tight end or something like that. Okay. Because realistically, when it came to the tight ends, after Mason Taylor went off the board, I was pretty much done. Like there was a huge drop off. Okay. Big drop off. I mean, if they weren't going to be aggressive and take Mason Taylor, I think the Jets took him. They were rumored to take him at 43. I forgot they were in the low 40s. They didn't take him, so that was pretty much what was going on. And I was kind of off the board when it comes to tight ends. I think it's just a wasted spot at that point. So I'm glad they just didn't pick somebody for the hell of it when it came to that. Okay. Now, the Eagles actually considered trading out of the second round, okay? That they were going to trade up heavily in the second round, aggressively. Wonder who they were going to get, but they traded up aggressively, and they couldn't get it done. It was going to cost way too much. There was rumors that it was going to cost a future 26 pick. And the Eagles are not touching their picks. They're not touching any of those picks for 2026. So Howie's being smart, not only for preparing this year, but preparing for next year as well, where you lose more free agents and you have to have a much bigger draft. And having 12 draft picks in the process, that's a lot of ammo for Howie Roseman. So they would have been aggressive in that second round, but it was costing way too much. Not like the Atlanta Falcons that are literally moving up for James Pierce Jr. and giving up a future first-round pick for a ceiling player, a ceiling guy. I mean, just one of the dumbest teams I've ever seen. And Howie Roseman's not going to give up something like that, especially valued picks. Every pick is valued in that 26 draft, and it's going to be absolutely insane. Okay, speaking of Howie Roseman, he had a lot to say on Andrew Mukuba, and I thought this was really interesting. Okay, Howie Roseman states this, that he'll start in the safety room, but he can play in the slot. Hard to find safeties that can cover and come down and defend the run. Okay, you have our GM coming out already, and I didn't know, like, he's going to compete. Not he's going to compete, and obviously he's going to compete. Every player competes. No one's going to be given the job, but for the guy to say he'll start in the safety room, I don't know if that's, he's one of the starters of the safety. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of already made up at this point that they feel really good about Andrew Mukuba. And you got to trust Vic Fangio on this, man, because if they see something, they're going to run with it. And that's a really good sign that they've been looking this guy's been on their radar for a while, which is great. Came in for a pre-draft visit as well, so got to take that into account too. Howie Roseman also had to say some things, saying it's really hard to find cover safeties and guys who have the ability to come down, play over the slot, play middle of the field, have natural instincts to play the football. He was a slot corner at Clemson before he transferred to Texas. He played with a mentality. He plays an Eagles brand of football for us. For us, the value fits the need. Throughout the process, this guy checked all the boxes. Okay. It's all about those versatile players, and they got two of them in this draft. Campbell, he's the Swiss Army knife of linebackers. You could play him off ball, inside, outside linebacker. You could play him on, as an edge guy. I mean, and now you have another guy now that can move all over the secondary, which is great if you need him to do that. And we know that Andrew Mukuba has the athletic ability, see things before they happen. He's a ball hawk. He hits like he acts like he's 250 pounds hitting somebody. The heart and soul of what he does on the field is there. His work ethic is there. It's such a solid pick for us, man. It's great. Now, the head coach to Texas, okay, Steve Sarkisian had some things to say about Andrew Mukuba. Okay, he says, what a great addition to our program Andrew was, not just as a player, but as a leader, a teammate, and a tremendous example of hard work and dedication. He just puts his head down, gives it all he's got all the time, and it's an incredible teammate. He was a really good football player for us this year who helped us win a lot of games, made big plays, and always stepped up when he was needed. Andrew is a very versatile, played well in the run game and excellent in pass defense and has some position flexibility. I think the Eagles will see his practice habits, his preparation, and the things that lead to positive performances on game day will really make him a great pro. Those are characteristics he had that will serve him well in the NFL. Okay, I believe Andrew Mukuba should have been drafted a lot earlier in the second round. Why teams passed on him, I don't know. Okay, sometimes the board falls how it falls, and the Eagles didn't have to move anywhere. They stayed at 64, and they ended up taking him. Okay, so if Howie Roseman is already calling him a starter at this point, that's a really good sign for good things to come. Obviously, we have to get to training camp. We're not just going to name him the starter, but if they feel that good that, Sidney Brown will have a shot to compete, okay, McComm will have a chance to compete. Lewis Sign that they ended up getting, he's another former first-round pick, is going to compete. So I think that safety room competition is going to be nice. And you have to think about it this way, too, because Joseph Kirby, I forgot, the safety from Detroit got paid a lot of money, highest paid safety, $21 million a year. And you have to think about it like this too, because Reed Blankenship's due for a contract after this year. What if he's asking for a big number like that? You know what I mean? The Eagles could be moving on from Jordan Davis. They could be moving on from Nakobe Dean. They could be moving on from Reed Blankenship. So, you're going to have some more free agents. You're going to make some really tough decisions on going forward. And safety, the market's just getting a lot stronger. And, to draft a guy like this now is good. This way, you're not going to be totally empty at safety after this year. Like I said, I don't think they're going to be signing a Justin Simmons. It doesn't seem like they're doing that. I think they're going to let the young guys kind of roll out. Reed Blankenship's been here for a while now, so he might, lead these guys a little bit in the room. But let me tell you, you watch Andrew Mukuba on tape, and it's just all positive, man. I mean, the one thing I've heard about him is his preparation. He studies every receiver, every tight end. Like, he is in the books when it comes to the routes, their favorite routes they like to run. And sometimes on the field, he sees things before they happen. He's got a ton of energy. Like, he's got 100% energy almost 10 out of 10 times of the minute. It's almost insane. So a lot of Eagle fans are just hating on this pick because I don't know, I know everybody wanted Amenwari, and Amenwari probably didn't fit what the Eagles wanted to do, or that trade up was just going to be impossible. Not impossible, they could have got it done, but if they were going to give up like a couple draft picks for 26, or at least one draft pick for 26, Howie Roseman's was not giving that up. He's going to save that draft capital for next year's draft. And I think a lot more moves are going to be made today. If you're watching this video on the third day of the draft, this is the day where they're going to fill out some of the roster, and then they're going to go out and they're going to they can put their attention to actual trades for players. This is the perfect moment to use some draft capital and make some trades, and maybe use some trade bait in the moment there. So I think the Eagles got a winner here. I think they got a star here. I really do. I watched a lot more last night, and I feel really good about Andrew Mukuba, man. A versatile player, and that's what they got. And I think sky's the limit for this kid. He needs a lot of reps in this training camp coming up. I can't wait to see it unfold. And we're going to be looking at this kid hit somebody, and we're going to say, wow, this is why he was drafted here. I'm not worried about the tackling. I'm not worried about any of that. And Howie Roseman's not even worried about his weight or anything, because I know beat writers have been asking that. Fans have been asking that. He's too light, blah, blah, blah. He'll gain 10 pounds. Okay, it'll happen. They'll put him somewhere, and he'll gain some weight, and he'll be fine. Not worried about it. I think this is a hell of a player. This is a hell of a pick, and for a team that only gave up a 5th-round pick for this year in their draft for one move up, one spot, I think they didn't need to pick any more players. They didn't need to pick any more players in the 3rd round of this draft. They didn't need anybody else, and obviously, I think they're going to just be working on a couple filler guys and get more picks for 26. So Andrew Mukuba to the Philadelphia Eagles at 64, 2nd-round pick. How do you guys feel about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Regardless if you like him, hate him, I think he's going to win a lot of Eagle fans over. I feel really good about this pick. The more that I do watch him, and like I said, I've never watched every game he's played, but I look back and watch some things that he's done in his career and heard from other people how they feel about him that have watched Texas, that are longtime fans, and I was very impressed. And this kid's work ethic, and let me tell you, it's a great value, man. Should have been drafted a lot earlier. Yeah, you got a hard piece of iron back there that's going to hit everything that moves, and let me tell you, it's going to happen. So sorry if I'm going on and off, but I'm just excited. This is the 2nd-round pick for the Eagles. Eagles did nothing in the 3rd-round pick but trade back, and this is kind of where we're at right now. So Howie Roseman feels pretty good. Vic Fangio's probably ecstatic right now, and we're just getting younger by the year. So let's see what day 3 brings us. Let me know what you guys think about Andrew Mukuba from Texas. And we'll be back with another one. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. And make sure you like the video because it helps out tremendously. I love you all. Please leave a comment because I want to know your thoughts on this. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, follow, slap. Peace out, guys. Peace.